had so much anger that one attack against society wasn't going to extinguish it. A feeling of power. I just needed to do it.
This is amazing, first of all, that you're getting access to this information and these voices and these recordings. But talk to me about how this is kind of, if you don't mind, like the genesis of this project and how you really decided to keep on going with it, really.
When we came into contact with these Berkowitz tapes by a journalist named Jack Jones, I thought, let's do Berkowitz.
People just think I was a bad man, totally out of contact with reality, which wasn't the case. But I've always had a wild imagination.
I listened to the tapes and I thought, even though many serial killers are unreliable narrators often, I just found the perspective from the killer was fascinating, and a fascinating way to tell the story. I actually look at this case as perhaps the foundational case for why we are so obsessed with true crime these days. This is, before the 24-hour news cycle, before social media. This guy had a grip on the city, interacted with the media by writing letters, and the media was only too happy to respond.
The city was in a frenzy of fear.
I'm afraid to be in this neighborhood.
Young people in pairs are getting shot.
People have not gone out of their houses.
Younger people in general who have been to New York can't imagine what New York was like in that era. Times Square, which is now kind of a Disney touristy themed playground, back then it was a cesspool of sex and pornography and prostitution and drugs.
We parked the car in Lover's Lane. We're talking, and then all of a sudden, we were shot.
I liken him more to school shooters today than to the depravity of the traditional serial killer. This is a guy who felt alienated, felt all this rage, and the only way to satisfy that rage were these random shootings. We have several survivors, Robert Violante, Carl Denaro in the show. We have Valentina Soriani's best friend, Gloria Zanghetti, in the show. So, it's telling the story responsibly. It's including the victim's POV, of course. And it's also having a larger kind of reason for telling the show. Normally, we don't include an interview with the killer himself that I conduct in the series, because these are tape-based interviews that were conducted decades ago. But in this instance, we happen to have Berkowitz alive. And so I debated, for a long time, do I break the form of the show and do an interview today? And I decided to do it. I think it's important to put this story out there. Like, we have a mental health crisis in this country, particularly with young men who feel rage.
Those cruel eyes are shining.
I asked him, if you could talk to the younger David, what would you say to him? And he said, run, get help. I could have talked to my father. I could have talked to my family. Get help. And I thought that was so human and so chilling.
I didn't really belong in the world. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be needed by somebody.